joining us now from his green space in Baltimore is Hilton Carter. Hilton, thank you. First of all, I'm admiring the wall behind you. Are those individual glass containers?
Yeah, they're actually what I call cradles. They take care of all the little cuttings, which are little baby plants, and you grow and develop roots, and then you can take them and either pot them yourself and place them in your home. But for me and my wife, we use them as gifts. So when you, let's say, Tamron, you came over our house, we would, take a cutting off the wall, put it into a pot, add some soil, you could walk away with your own little new plant. So yeah.
When you think you've heard everything, that is a phenomenal idea. And that's just your little parting gift from home. And you have plenty of them to spare and share. Tell me about Frank here. I am fascinated. First of all, how do we know Frank is a guy? And tell me about Frank. And how's Frank doing? Frank, is a fig tree a fig plant?
Frank is a fiddle leaf fig. I got Frank back when I was living in New Orleans about 6 years ago. He got the name Frank, and he got the I would say the gender as a male just because I was looking for a friend. I needed a buddy, and it was someone for me to talk to, someone for me to focus my care for me to nurture. So Frank became that for me. So because of Frank, it kind of forced me to be a better plant parent, as they say.
Okay, wait,
so
I did not know
helped,
that was a phrase, a plant parent. I've heard of
that
fur
is correct.
parent. You're a plant parent, and you have 300 plants. So that,
I have at this very moment. I have a little bit less than 300. I have about 200 or so in my apartment and about 40 or 50 in my studio. I had to downsize from another space that I used to
okay, you
have.
have if they are
Um,
your children, you got a lot of babies. Let me tell you.
it's a lot.
They're
It's a
beautiful,
lot.
though. So you have your book. It's called Wild Interiors. It's full of great advice to incorporate into our homes. I'm curious, do you think plants grow better when you name them?
Well, I think plants, like all living things, respond to someone who is giving them that sort of attention. So for me, I name my plants in the earlier, I would say, in the earlier parts of my journey in plants, just so it would force me to be more
Okay.
aware, be on
I love
top of
that.
care.
I have
Yeah.
an
So I
outside
think
garden at my home, and my team here, they've given me the name for my garden. I hadn't named it. They call it Botanical Garden. That's the Botanical Garden. So next year, that's the Botanical Garden. So it looks good without a name. I can't wait to see what. Now, I've got a pot in front of me. You're going to walk us through quickly some advice of important ways to properly pot a plant. What
for
is the
sure.
key? Because I would just think it's a no-brainer. It's not, though.
It's not. I think the first thing you should be focusing on is the size of the new pot that you're going to be placing your plant in. So when you're deciding to place a plant into a new pot,
Mhm.
you should make sure that that new planter is at least 2 inches in diameter, larger than your previous pot, or
Are
at least
pebbles
in some cases.
always required? Because do you require pebbles and things like that?
Well, Tamron, I would say if you're going to be using pebbles in this case, you might have a planter without a drainage hole.
Correct.
That's when we might want to bring in
Ah,
pebbles or stones or horticultural charcoal at the base so that you can create a bit of a buffer
uh-huh.
so that your roots aren't sitting in water. Because when you water that plant, that water's going to go through that soil and then enter into that buffer zone. But I will say this, Tamron, I just want people to know that if you are going to go get a new plant, which you're going to call your plant baby, I want to make sure you're going to care for it properly. So please, if you can, get yourself a planter that does have a drainage hole. And if it doesn't, maybe take a
Mm.
drill bit and drill a hole in it so that those roots are allowed to breathe and aren't going to sit in water. Because if those roots are sitting in water, it will create root rot and you will have a
I
dying
love this.
plant
Well,
on
your
your
book is
hands.
called Wild Interiors. These are plants that I just got. I've got to name them. I think I'm going to name this one Candy Carter after our executive producer
There,
because she just
there
keeps
we go.
growing and going. All right, Hilton, thank you so much.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so
For
much.
more information, go online again. Hilton's book is called Wild Interiors.